Hey guys, so this is a pattern that I did in an odds and ends video a couple months back, but when I pulled it out at one point during a spin jam on the playa, people were really transfixed by it, so I thought it might make for good tech blog fodder. What this is it's kind of a similar idea to stall chasing, but it adds two additional elements in. One is the use of right angles between the poi, and the other is the use of pendulum stalls. Now, pendulum stalls, for those of you who are unfamiliar or need a refresher, happen on either end of a pendulum. Duh. At either end of a pendulum, the potential energy of the poi increases to its max, and the actual kinetic energy of the poi decreases to the point of zero, which is why we've found this point to be very useful for doing things like 0 points, for plane shifting and the like. Another use for it is, at that point, we can kind of shift our focus and think of, instead of the hand being the center of the circle and the poi moving around it, to instead the head of the poi being the center of the circle and the hand moving around that, we create a quarter circle on either side, and it stops the poi dead in its tracks. Which is a really nifty effect for an audience, because they're used to seeing things that move, requiring a whole lot of energy to stop on a dime, like this. Which, come to think of it, is part of the whole visual appeal of stacking and stalls to begin with. But to re-enter the pendulum, of course, your hand does a quarter circle back. This also, incidentally, is the idea behind doing point isolations. That you're stacking together the, that's a bad word for it, putting together both the stall and the exit in sequential order in the same direction. Though we're not playing with point isolations today, we're playing with something slightly different. Although I guess you could consider a pendulum stall to be almost like a cut-up point isolation. Anyway, so we're looking to get back to this position right here with the hand out to the side of the poi head. The reason being that you get like a split second when you can pull the poi out of this position and treat it like it's bottom stall, and you go to a top stall. So really, to execute this pattern, what you're doing is you're executing two different types of stalls in sequence. You execute pendulum, pendulum, top, bottom, pendulum, pendulum, top, bottom, pendulum, pendulum, top, bottom, pendulum, pendulum, top, bottom. What happens when you do this with your two hands at the same time and stagger the timing of them is that it forces them into creating right angles at every single stall point. Which is kind of nifty. It also sets you up for nifty things like, say, Ronan's right angle vertical stack. Which, as you can see, includes that same moment when the poi is hanging out to the side. And if you just treat it as a stall instead of as a float, you can get right back out of this pattern. Easy as pie. Another cool variant on this that I've been playing with is the idea of actually making it a chaser instead of aborting that early on. So the next question pops up, what can I actually use this for? Well, this is still fuzzy for me, but here in my mind is the way that it can be used. We've played around on this blog with vertical stacks before. And we've played around with horizontal stacks, of course. And I think that playing around with right angles in this way, and specifically these kind of pendulum stalls, actually opens us up to being able to switch between these two different types of stacking. So for instance, I can take this horizontal stacking pattern, which I'm sure we're all very familiar with, and I can switch myself out of it, like so. And if I want to, create a vertical stack, come back out of it into right angle land. And the tricky part, going back into the horizontal stack. Cool. So, nice practical example. Yeah, I'm going to be playing more with this. I'll throw more of those types of transitions out there if you guys are interested. And yeah, look for more of these coming across this blog in the coming weeks. Thank you all for watching. Have yourselves a great weekend, and I'll see you soon. Peace.